Hello dear students, my friends and to all the viewers, I am Dr. Santosh Patil, Professor in General and Minimal Access Surgery. Today I will be addressing a very important topic, that is the complications of transfusion. In my previous class, I discussed in detail about the transfusion of the blood and its components and the indications and contraindications. In this class, I will be dealing with the transfusion related complications. The complications related to transfusion occur in approximately 10% of all the transfusions, and 0.5% of these transfusions are serious in nature. There are certain very rare but certain cause that has led to mortality of the patient, especially associated with transfusion. The cause are mainly because of the transfusion related acute lung injury, that is TRALI, ABO, hemolytic transfusion reactions, and very rarely bacterial contamination of the platelets. So for easy understanding, especially for the undergraduates who will be writing their theory questions, which this topic may be asked in the theory question as a short notes or a major question as well, and multiple choice question also it has been asked plenty of times. So for easy understanding, I have classified into the non-hemolytic reaction, which includes the febrile reaction and bacterial contamination of the products, and allergic reactions and respiratory complication in the form of a transfusion associated cardiac overload and transfusion associated acute lung injury. The hemolytic reactions, and third one is the transmission of the infectious diseases. In the non-hemolytic reactions is the febrile, that is patient will develop fever, which is nothing but increase in the temperature that is more than 1 degree Celsius, that is associated with transfusion, seen in about 1% of all transfusion related cases. The etiology is mainly because of the preformed cytokines in the donated blood and the recipient antibodies reacting with the donated antibodies. This can be greatly reduced mainly by using the leukocyte reduced RBCs. In my previous class, I detailed about the leukocyte washed and leukocyte filtered, that is the leukocyte reduced RBCs, which can be used to reduce the side effects of transfusion related complication. And pre-treatment of the patient with the acetaminophen also reduces the severity of the reaction. The second of non-hemolytic reactions is the bacterial contamination. This bacterial contamination is the most common cause is usually a gram-negative organism, which is capable to grow at the 4 degree Celsius. They are associated with the administration of platelets that are stored at 20 degree Celsius. Apheresis platelets are stored at room temperature. That's when the infection usually may occur. This results in the sepsis and death in up to 25% of the patients. The bacterial contamination, the patient may have the symptoms of signs like symptoms and signs in the form of fever, chills, and tachycardia and hypotension on evaluation. The GI symptoms sometimes include the abdominal cramps, vomiting, and the diarrhea. Immediately once the patient has been diagnosed with this, immediately a transfusion has to be discontinued and the blood sample has to be taken for the culture analysis of the blood, and also patient has to be started emergency treatment in the form of oxygen and adrenergic blocking agents, and high antibiotic has to be started. So the third reaction is the allergic reaction. Most of the patient usually develop, that is 1% of the patient have allergic reaction that of all transfusions, that is mainly caused by the transfusion of the antibodies from a hypersensitive donors or the transfusion of the antigens to which the patient is the or the recipient is the hypersensitive. It is commonly associated with FFP and the platelets. The symptoms are in the form of a mild like rash, urticaria, or flushing may be there, and rarely patient may develop severe anaphylactic shock. The treatment is, if it is a mild symptom, patient just prophylaxis administration of the antihistamines will suffice. If patients or serious symptoms are there, the patient may require injectable steroids and epinephrine. The respiratory complications are of two types, that is the transfusion associated circulatory overload and transfusion associated respiratory acute lung injury. So the TACO is nothing but it's an avoidable complication. It's a complication which is mainly because of the negligence, where the patient is loaded with lot of fluids in the different form, like it can be a blood transfusion with lot of crystalloid solution infusion, especially the patients who have underlying cardiac disorder. So it is mainly because of the rapid infusion of the blood, plasma expanders, and the crystalloids, usually seen in the patients who are older in age with underlying heart disease. it is manifested like mainly by the rise in the venous pressure, dyspnea, and patient will have cough. It is mainly because of the increase in the cardiac overload. So on evaluation, patient may have rales usually heard at the lung bases. So the treatment of the TACO is, as it is an avoidable complication, patient better go for the monitoring. If you suspect a patient who is a cardiac patient and if you are planning for a transfusion, better go for a central venous pressure monitoring whenever a large amount of fluid is planned for administration. If patient has any of the symptoms, immediately give injectable diuretics. Slowing the rate of transfusion is simple method to avoid this complication. And immediate and patient importantly is reduce the amount of fluid, just adjust the fluid according to the patient's weight. The second respiratory complication is the TRALI, that is transfusion associated acute lung injury. This is a non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema where patient usually have a usually the complication is seen in less than 1 in 10,000 units that are transfused. It is mainly seen with the patient who have transfused with plasma containing blood products. Anti-HLA or anti-HNA antibodies which are transfused in the blood reacts with the pulmonary leukocytes and cause inflammation. This occurs within 1 to 2 hours after the onset of transfusion, but always occurs within 6 hours. So it may be a multiple choice question. They may ask you TRALI associated complication occurs ideally within 6 hours. The symptoms are in the form of a dyspnea and associated hypoxemia. Patient have associated symptoms like septicemia, that is fever, rigors, and on evaluation patient may be having a bilateral pulmonary infiltrates on the chest X-ray. The treatment of TRALI is mainly immediately cessation of the transfusion has to be done. Patient notification has to be sent to the transfusion to look for any cross matching of these patients. And if patient is in ICU, close monitoring has to be done. Patient has to be started with high oxygen support, and patient in the severe cases may require ventilatory support also. Most of the patient usually require recover, but if the diagnosis is delayed, there are high chances patient have a very high mortality. Coming to the hemolytic reactions, the hemolytic reactions can be in the form of a acute or delayed. The acute hemolytic reactions that are nothing but immediate reactions that occurs are usually because of the administration of the ABO incompatible blood. So it is a mainly we are transfusing ABO incompatible blood, which is fatal in about 6% of the cases. The main reason for AB incompatibility is mainly because of the errors that are errors in the laboratory in the form of a technical error or a clerical nature for not documenting the form properly or not mismatching of the blood group, or it may be because of the administration of the wrong blood type also. So the etiology, again here what happens is there is intravascular destruction of the RBCs and consequent hemoglobinuria and hemoglobinemia that is taking place, and there is a DIC which is initiated by the antigen antibody complex usually that starts activating the factor 12 and the complement system. Patient may be have associated acute renal insufficiency that is mainly because of the free hemoglobin, that is hemoglobinuria, that results in the tubular necrosis and also results in precipitation within the tubules. So the symptoms depends upon the patients. If the patient is awake patient and if the patient is anesthetized. Multiple choice question again. If patient is awake, the most common symptoms of hemolytic reaction is pain at the site of the transfusion, facial flushing, and the back and chest pain with fever, respiratory distress, and hypotension. If patient is anesthetized, the patient will have severe or a diffuse bleeding and hypotension and tachycardia. The diagnosis of hemolytic reaction is mainly because there will be associated hemoglobinuria and serological criteria that shows incompatibility of the donor and the recipient blood, and positive Coombs test, that is transfused cells coated with the patient's antibody. There is second type, that is the delayed hemolytic transfusion that occurs up to 2 to 10 days after the blood transfusion, which is characterized by extravascular hemolysis, mild anemia, and indirect, that is unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia is seen. So this is mainly because of the anamnestic response. It is nothing but the new antibodies. There is an immediate development of the antibodies whenever a patient is subjected to or exposed to the antigen to which he is already sensitive. The patient may develop with fever and recurrent anemia, jaundice, and decreased haptoglobin. There are low grade hemoglobinemia and hemoglobinuria compared to the acute phase, where there is a massive, even patient may have acute tubular necrosis in acute phase, but delayed phase the severity is not that much. So there is certain transmission of diseases as well. The diseases which are transmitted are the malaria, the Chagas disease, brucellosis, and very very rarely the syphilis. The malaria is the one which can be transmitted by all the blood components, and the species most commonly implicated is the Plasmodium malaria. Again, multiple choice question it has been asked. The Plasmodium malaria is the species that usually is associated with transmission of the infection during blood transfusion. The incubation period is about 8 to 100 days, and the symptoms are usually in the form of just chills and spiking of fever. The other communication diseases are the hepatitis C and HIV-1, which are mainly minimized nowadays by the better antibody nucleic acid screening. And residual risk of hepatitis B infection is also seen usually in 1 is to 3 lakh donations of blood. Hepatitis A is extremely rare nowadays because there is no asymptomatic carriers that are seen. Again, there are certain incidences of West Nile virus transmission as well. The next transfusion disorder is the prion disease. These are the example being the Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. It is mainly transmissible by transfusion, but there is no information on inactivation of the prions in the blood products. There have been increase in the incidence of the Zika virus that is detected up to 2.8%, especially in the endemic areas only. The other transmission are this Zika virus transmission is mainly because of the transmission via the platelet products. Thank you. Kindly subscribe my channel for more surgery and related topics.